Okay, good morning, Facebook family. Okay, yesterday I really wanted to get off into high vibrational energy. But after assessing it and dealing, really looking at it, I realized that maybe you might not be ready to get into that yet. So I got into meditation this morning, and when I came out, I realized that you're not ready to go into high vibrational energy. You're ready to go. You need to steadily progress up it to that point, because that's a pretty tough topic, intense even so. I want to talk about convalescing. And there's other words that I've learned along the way that are synonymous with this word, and what it means and what it is, and the whole essence of it. But I think that to use the actual word itself would be so great, because good morning, Lori. Would be so great because it expressed intensity, and it's different levels, and it's different scenarios and different circumstances that I want to tap into on my personal experience on my end, that feed this right here, to feed the spirit of this condition right here. So we talking about convalescence. About convalescent homes, convalescence, and convalescing. And the reason why I use ing is because I'm still in the process of. Ing usually is the action part of it, that is ongoing, that it's happening right now in this moment. So I want to talk about convalescence, and the definition is the gradual recovery of health and strength after illness or injury. It refers to the latter stage of an infectious disease or illness when the patient recovers and returns to previous health. So that's the definition. That's the Webster definition or the Google definition, whichever one you want to choose. Oh, it says Wikipedia. But anywho, I got it off Google. But I want to talk about this. I make no bones about what I do, who I am, where I'm at. Good morning, Corinne. Talking about convalescing this morning. It says that you can come on camera. Would you like to come on? Just, comment and I'll respond accordingly. But anyhow, convalescing. I make no bones about the various traumas that I have experienced in my life. I done been, in some instances, depending on what type of shades or rose-colored glasses or reading binoculars I have on, I done been through hell and back, right? I done been through hell and back in some instances. Some mornings I wake up, I'm looking at life through eyes of grace and mercy. And then some days I wake up this jaded, I'm looking at woe is me, that man did this. I'm on this whole women's liberation thing, they do how they do, so I got to do how I do. It's just ego-filled foolishness, right? And so now I'm here, and I want to talk about convalescing. Whatever side I wake up on, whatever state I wake up in, the bottom line is that I'm here. Some common things happen. I wake up alive, right? I still got to go to work, right? There's some common denominators that need to happen regardless to what state regardless to what state I'm in. But if I am working from the right function, and if I'm working from the right baseline, if I'm working from a healthy state, so to speak, I'll be able to function properly. And those things that I have to do, work, right? Interact with my loved ones, right? Be in life, right? Deal with people accordingly. Be in my relationships functioning and healthy and effective. That determines this state right here. And this is my feelings, my thoughts, my experience. If you take something away from it, great. If you don't, then that's great too. But I just, I felt like I needed to talk about this. So there are some areas that I'm still sick in, right? And there are some areas that I'm in the ICU in, right? And there are some areas that I'm in the CCU in, right? Of my life, emotionally and mentally. And I'm going to give some solid examples because you know I'm an example girl. I don't have no problem with turning my cards up, all 52 of them. And if the deck got 54, that means I got the little joker and the big joker. And that depends on what side I'm on. I could be the little joker or the big joker. Okay? So now I'm here and, you know, today I feel like I am, Corinne said me too. Today I feel like I'm in a really, really healthy place. Right? I'm in a healthy place. So at this stage and age and stage of my life, I want something for myself. And my wants are different from years ago. Hell, my wants are even different from months ago. Right? I am single. I'm a single African-American female who is looking for something, who's on a journey, who has renegotiated the terms of the contract of her life. Yes, I said that because I live a life and I believe in a creator and I believe in a deity that allows me free moral agency over my life, that offers me the opportunity to be of free will. And yes, so I'm saying this. I have renegotiated the terms of the contract of my life. And I'm taking back some things that were taken from me, if that makes sense. And so in that taking away from me, some things that were taken away from me probably were necessary. It was probably necessary for it to happen. But in that taking away, some things were stripped of me that were vital for survival. My dignity. My self-respect, my ability to be able to thrive. These are just three things. I could go on and we'll be on this feed for at least 24 hours talking about the things that were taken away from me. This is how I woke up this morning. And so in saying these things, like a lot of the times I was a volunteer to this stuff. I wasn't a victim. I'm not, listen, I make no bones about it. I'm not a victim all the time. There are times when I have succumbed to being a victim of my circumstances, right? It's just the way it was. It was the terrain and some things happened and I had to roll with it, right? Because that's just the way it was. Can't take it back. That's my story. It ain't even about whether I'm sticking to it or not. This stuff just happened, right? Trauma. And so I got here and I'm here and I'm having this really good time with life right now, here in the here and now. But up here lately, some things have just been ringing from the past. Just been ringing. And I want to talk about relationships. I said I was going to give some examples. So I want to talk about relationships. And in my relationships, you know, I talked about in another feed, you know, trust the process and something else, that things got a way of recursing themselves. Like they got a way of being recursive if I don't learn the lesson, right? So what has happened is that across the span of my life, the longitude of my life, I have chosen friends. Yeah, I've chosen my friends. I've chosen my people, right? I've chosen my people. And in choosing my people, you know, I choose my people as a reflection of where I'm at that time. Stay with me. Please stay with me if you're with me, because this is going to be cute. I choose my people as a reflection of where I'm at in this moment in time. In my 20s, my friends reflected my views, my value system, and where I was at that moment in my life at that time. Does that make sense? When I entered into parenthood, I began to pick people who I felt and thought were reflective of that period in my life. When I reached my 40s, you know, like, let's talk about the lifespan. I chose my friends. Some of my friends that I had from my 20s still stayed with me through the course of these years. But there were some new additions added in my 40s because my 40s was a pivotal turning point in my life. First of all, I didn't even think I was going to make it to 40. Second of all, you know, I didn't even understand the developmental phase that I was entering into. And then third, you know, like, listen, I had scars that I didn't even want to acknowledge. Either didn't know they existed, or I didn't want to, knew they existed and didn't even want to acknowledge them. Right? Was aware, but didn't even want to acknowledge them. So that's where I was at in my 40s. So the new people that I added to my arsenal, right? Yeah, because we do war. You know, at this point in my life, in my 40s, I was feeling like I was at war. So the people that I was putting into my arsenal reflected that period. Whether they were spiritual warriors, right? Mental warriors, right? Or just could put them hands up and do that work. Right? But the bottom line, that's how I felt when I got to 40. Now I'm approaching the ripe age of 50, and I don't feel the way that I felt before. But I want to talk about those relationships. Those relationships were all inclusive of a viewpoint, a stance, a belief system that serves me no good right now where I'm at in my life. Now I want to go a step deeper. Like when I really started becoming life literate. Right? Life literate. And I started studying my life. See, when I stopped gossiping about you and stopped talking about you, I have no choice. This is just me. There are other choices, but I have no choice but to start taking a hard, critical, assessing look at me. Right? And I started assessing and evaluating my life. And I started looking at my relationships. And what I found out, if you got on socks, this is going to blow your socks off. Like when I looked at my life, I started seeing a theme. All of my friends carried some traits that were similar. Right? And I want to go a step deeper. Those traits, right? Right? Because I talked about this in a feed. Trust the process. Please, if you get a chance, go listen to that when you get a chance. Trust the process, because I really dug off into that one. But those traits, to go a step deeper, all led back to a relationship that was very important to me, and that was stripped away at a very young age. And although that relationship was toxic, it was a relationship that was mine, and it had become my norm, and it was nurturing to me, and it was helping me, although it was hurtful. This is where I come from. And so I got to this point where I was studying my relationships back here recently, and I got to the point where I realized that I've grown, right? I'm blossoming, right? The roots that I have up underneath me are in this small pot with no porous outlet. So my roots are suffocating. And they're suffocating under the pressure of these relationships. It's not just one, it's many. So when I have no choice but to look at me when my relationships start becoming frustrating to me on a systemic level. When one relationship is faltering, maybe you might want to evaluate and assess the relationship, sit down with the friend, talk about where y'all at, chop it up, and y'all see what what's going on, see how you can revamp the relationship, express some things. That's what I do in my relationships. But when 1, 2, 3, 4, your relationships is faltering and you're frustrated, I'm the common denominator. I got to take a look at what's going on with me. And what's going on with me for the first time in my life, it's nothing I'm doing wrong. Because I come from a place of bullshit. I come from a place of doing shit to people and people doing shit to me. But the bottom line, what I'm saying is that I have a pattern of doing shit in my relationships. And yes, negative, on a negative front. But for the first time in my life, might be 2 or 3, but this is the first time that I'm aware of that I have done some shit. I started growing. Good for you, Tisha. I started growing up and I started taking ownership and started asking the hard questions about my life to my creator, the universe, or whatever I believe in. And I started asking hard questions and I started getting some answers, and now I'm executing. And see, the other relationships around me, recursive they be, that lead all back to that one relationship that was so pivotal in my life, that was not so great, but was the greatest relationship to me. Like, They're at where they're at. And I'm not saying that where they're at is not productive and effective for them. It has to be because it's for them. But it no longer, what's going on in the interactional relations is no longer serving me anymore. What do? You allow yourself, I allow, Tisha, what do? I allow myself to be a part of the convalescing period, the period to heal, the period to grow, the period to mend. So that when I come out of that state, because it's a state, right? Will I always be convalescing? I don't know. But I know right now I can acknowledge that I'm in that period. And when I come out, I'll be of good use to not just you, but the most important person. I'll be of good use to me. I will not be stifled. How I know these relationships are no longer serving me any use is because of how frustrated, the level of my frustrations. Yes, you get frustrated with your friends. Nobody is a yes man in a relationship. Yes, you're going to get aggravated with your man. Talking about me. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me. Because there's some people that don't get frustrated. And that's cool too. I'm not here. Listen, I'm talking about me. I get frustrated with my friends. I get frustrated. But I'm talking about the brevity of the frustration. The level of the aggravation. The intensity of the irritation. So now we're here at this front. What do? One question is that I'm putting into me right now is, why is that acceptable? Hey, why is that acceptable, Tisha? Why is that acceptable? The behaviors, the way you speak to me. It's acceptable because it was allowed. ED, past tense. But now that I'm convalescing and I'm mending and listen, I'm no longer in CCU or ICU. I have a bed on the main floor. And there is somebody who's coming around checking on me periodically. And that's because through meditation and praying, I've been asking them to do so. And in my mind's eye, what's happening is that I'm starting to be able to check myself. I'm starting to be able to check in on myself, evaluate my behaviors, ask myself the hard questions, and then be available for the answers and be ready to execute when the answers come up. What about you, Facebook family? What about you? Are you somewhere? It's one thing to be sick. It's another thing to be aware of the sickness. And it's another thing to not do anything about it. Once you've been made aware. Because there's some of us walking around sick, and it's some areas in my life, like I mentioned at the top of this feed, I'm sick in and I don't know it. Universe, reveal it to me so that I could do what I need to do. But the areas where I know that I'm sick at, and I'm in ICU or CCU, please check on me. Help. I need somebody. And if what you have to give me is of good use, then we can work. But if it's of no good use to me, I can't freak with you, and I'll respond accordingly. Trust me. But we talking about awareness and then the ability to be able to ask the hard questions and then wait, and then move forward. So that's where I'm at this morning, convalescing. You know, I could have used recuperating, right? I could have used rehabilitation, but I felt the need to use convalescing because convalescing speaks to the most fragile state that a person could be in. That means that a evasive surgery or some type of devastating injury has been procured and it's going to take a period of time to heal. That's the evasiveness. That's the intensity of the word. And that's what I wanted to reach into. So I hope I was helpful in that respect. What about you, Facebook family? Is there some areas where you need convalescing? Is there somebody that you need to check in on you? Do you have the ability in some areas to check in on yourself? And if you don't, then what are you doing? What are we doing? So I'm here. Convalescing. I got a few minutes. I see Nene, it says bring them on camera. Nene, I can bring you on camera. Corinne, it said I can bring you on camera. Y'all guys are saying yes, so that means you can hear me and you feel me. So how are you guys doing today? Corinne, I haven't seen you in a very long time. How are you doing? Nene, love you like a fat cat love cake. Yeah. No, listen. Let me tell you, thank you. Because this is a part of my therapy. This is a part of my healing. This is a part of my getting up. No, thank you. Thank you for receiving it. Thank you for helping me to co-create a new... You said, sorry, I can't. Okay, that's okay. Thank you for helping me recreate and rewrite the narrative of my life and renegotiate the terms of the contract of my life. Thank you. Thank you for being up this morning and receiving it. Like you guys just don't know. I love you too. No, I'm getting this thing, girl. I'm getting it. Like I done grabbed up my gauntlet. I done grabbed up my sword. I'm ready to cut through some stuff because I'm tired of being where I was. I'm tired of repeating the same recursive patterns with the same people, doing the same things over and over again and again. And that ain't girlfriends. That ain't just girlfriends. I'm talking about men. I'm talking about all of it. Job, work. It's time to level up. And that's okay if you can't go with me. I'm not mad at you. That don't mean that we not friends. It's just that it's time for me. I have to do something. This is my life. Nobody can live it for me. That's the realization I came to. So, yes. You said family ? No, is it my family? Oh, I don't. No, everybody. Listen, all the way across the board, baby. All the way across the board. Nothing's going on the family front because we really don't interact that much, but I'm forging forward. I love my people. I love my friends. I love my family. I love what I do. I love my work. But even in love, there's some things that is just not acceptable. Oh, yours. Corinne said, no, not yours, mine. Okay. So you're convalescing in the area. You have that area where you got to learn how to... Family can be tough. It's kind of hard when you're with family to forge your own identity, especially when they know you, because family knows you from a really, really intimate place. They know you when you had the pigtails and all that, and you were developing. They don't understand that and a lot of times family don't want to see the woman that you've grown into. Right? They still see little TT. I just told y'all my nickname. It's tough. But once I put those blinders on, I forge forward. No matter what anybody says, I got more days behind me than I got ahead of me. I say it all the time. Every day that I wake up, it's about grace and mercy. I've been offered grace and mercy. Very tough. You're absolutely right, Corinne. And you got to move. Listen. I'm living my life. I've had the opportunity to renegotiate the terms. That's all I'm saying. So, I got out here early. Oh my goodness. But I'm gonna get off and I'm going to talk to you guys later. Corinne, do you have my number? If you don't, Shoot it to you. We can chop it up sometimes. Girl, it's a whole new world over here. Nay, we already do what we do. But I love you guys so much. I love you guys so much. You just don't know. The love is definitely there. The admiration is definitely there. The respect is definitely there. You know, you can't help but to respect and love a human being who is trying. Nothing beats a failure but a try, you know. So I'm here. I'm going to definitely send you my number if you don't have it. And we could chop it up because I haven't seen you and spoke to you in a while. And I'm glad to see that everything. How is Benji? Is he still military? You know, Marquise is Marine Corps. Miss him so much. My teeth, though. My BB. My baby. Let me get off of here before I get all sentimental thinking about my son. You just reminded me of my son. Girl, you just reminded me of Marquise, and now I'm getting all mushy. This is a little necklace right here, the little 3 pieces of the Marine Corps. The heart, the globe, and something else. You know the Marine Corps got, they deep, so they got 3 pieces, and I got this around my neck. I either wear this, or I wear the dog tag that says I'm the mom of a Marine. But I'm going to get off here before I get all misty-eyed and y'all see me crying on camera. And then this will go viral. Me crying. Not the deep message that I talked about just 2 minutes ago. Me crying on camera will be viral. They'll be like, oh my God, Black Lives Matter. I'm going to go. You guys, convalescing. What area? We'll talk. That's right. Right. Yeah, I guess so. They are good. But I'm going to talk to you later. I'm going to send you my number. I'm going to shoot you my number in case you don't have it. Right. Love you.